Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome you in this session, Electronic Learning in Word Processing. Now, let's look at the target group. The target group, we have O-level students who have word processing as one of their topics in school. We have A-level students who also practice word processing. We have college students. These are could be diploma students who are doing word processing as one of their course. But also university students who get computer literacy lessons, and they may admire to look at this work so that they can enhance their learning. But we also have others. Others could be people who are intending to go for interviews but they do not have computer knowledge, or they can be people who are working class but they do not have the knowledge of computer. So this kind of learning is brought to you by DT Points Computing School based in Mukono, whereby if you want further inquiries or you want to learn more, you can visit us there in Mukono. You'll get the address at the end. The person handling this session is Mr. Kichui Shadrack Enock, author of computer books. Now, let us look at the word processing part 1. Word processing part 1. In word processing, we shall look at definition of word processing. We shall look at how we create a file. How do you create a file? You should pay attention and you learn how you create a file using word processing. Also, we shall look at typing skills. Most of you do not know how to type, and in this session I will guide you. I will make this tutorial to guide you how I can make you a brilliant typist, because typing is one of the most essential skills in computer literacy. So in these typing skills, we shall also look at keyboard layout. Keyboard layout. How do you master your hands in operating the keyboard? Now, let us look at the definition. The definition of word processing. When you look at word processing, is a program that can be used to create, edit, format, store, and print a document that contains text and graphics. So this word processing can be used to create a document. You can use this word processing to create a document. But after creating that document, which may be blank, you can edit or making changes of already typed document. But we can also do the formatting of the work that has been typed. Eventually, we can store our work so that any other time we can make a reference. This work can be stored in the computer hard disk or any storage medium which it can be accessed there frequently. And we can also be able to produce out work on a sheet of paper using this very word processing program. Now, there are several examples of word processing program. These applications may include Microsoft Word as one of the applications of word processing, but there is another one known as Word. Also, we have WordStar, Lotus Word Pro, and many others. Not only these four, but there are many others. But in our case, we are going to look at Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word. Why? Because it is widely used. It is widely available. We can easily get it anytime we need it. So we shall practice Microsoft Word, which is well known. Now look, Let us look at the Microsoft Word recent versions. There are many versions of Microsoft Word, but let's look just at the most recent. We have Microsoft Office Word 2007. Microsoft Office Word 2007. We normally say Microsoft Office because these packages are Office practice. They are usually used in Office, so they branded it as Office. So Microsoft Office Word 2007, and most of you have seen this. But also we have Microsoft Office Word 2010. We also have Microsoft Office Word 2013. We have 2016, and finally we have 2019. And if you look carefully, these applications are produced within an interval of 3 years. They come up with a new version. So these versions are always many. They are frequently being produced. Now, you may ask, which one can I use amongst the list? You can use any. Any of these versions can perform just too well. Now, in this case, this tutorial we shall base in Office Word 2007. Why? Because in the broad spectrum of Word users are still using 2007, much as the most recent one is 2019, but 2007 is still widely used. But the good news is that all these applications have negligible differences. You may not really notice that when you are learning 2007 you are getting any difficulty in adjusting to 2019. So even if your installation is 2019, you can still follow this tutorial even if I'm using 2007, and you still follow very well. Now let us look at creation of a file. Creation of a file. We are still in word processing part 1. We are looking at creating a file. Now, when you start your machine, anytime you start your machine, you'll be interfaced with this kind of screen, which we normally refer to as a desktop screen. A desktop screen. Now, this screen interfaces you as a user, but you need to see where you can point and click using your mouse, your left mouse button, where you can point and click so that you can start using any of the applications that you want to use. Now look at this pointer here, whereby when you move your pointer at that very tip where we are pointing and click, when you click there with your left mouse button, another screen will come, another interface. This interface will show you where you can access most of your programs. Yes, there you are seeing some of the applications showing up there, but I don't want to lead you there. I want it to lead you direct here, where I say click here, all programs. I want you to click all programs, all programs. Now when you click all programs, the moment you click all programs, you will see another interface. Now the interface that has come, we are seeing the folder labeled Microsoft Office. We have Microsoft Office 2013, but let us look at Microsoft Office because there are many versions installed here. That's why you are seeing that, but we are interested in Microsoft Office, where we shall get our Microsoft Office Word 2007. So with that, I advise you to point there and click in Microsoft Office. Now, but if you don't have 2007, you have 2016, no problem. You can still go ahead with that and follow the tutorial. Now, after clicking there once, you will see a list of several applications. Some are not for Word, some are for spreadsheet, for database, and many other applications. But we are interested in looking at the application which can help us process the words. The application which can help us process the words. And this one is Microsoft Office Word 2007 that we are looking for. We still have others, 2010, but we are looking for Word 2007. So from there, we point there directly and click with the left mouse button. When we click there once, our program will open immediately. And this one, as you can see, it's a blank screen. It is just blank electronic sheet. It is an electronic sheet. Why do I say it's an electronic sheet? It's an electronic sheet because it is not a physical sheet like a sheet of paper that you can use there to write. So it is electronic and it is within the computer. So with this, we can see that we are able to use our keyboard and make composition of characters, of words, using our typing skills. So next, let us look at typing skills. Typing skill. Are we able to type? Because typing is another very essential skill that each of us we need to pay attention so that we can master the keyboard the way it is laid out. Now, here we have the keyboard that we need to understand it carefully, especially for people who are just beginning learning computer. You need to master the way your keyboard is arranged. Now, the keyboard has this very basic arrangement. One, we have the typewriter area. Typewriter area has the most frequently used key buttons, and these one are holding characters or alphabetical characters which range from A to Z. Very essential characters. But we also within there have the number letter or number characters which range from 0 to 9. But you will agree with me that the characters A to Z are not arranged alphabetically. No, they have another arrangement. I do not know why they use that arrangement, but they are not alphabetically arranged, but they are all there. They are all there, plus other a few special characters. You can see them within the box. Then we have the numeric keypad. That section is also having simple numbers, but there is a key button there that you switch in order to be able to use those numbers. If you don't switch them, especially use numlock, you'll see a numlock key there here, whereby when you click, you are able to use the numbers. When you press it once, you are able to use the numbers. If you don't switch it on, the numbers won't come on you press. For those who are demanded to use this area, but normally there is another section of numbers here. You may not need to use this one here, because even other keyboard layouts, especially those one of a laptop, they don't have the numeric keypad. So let us also be more familiar of these other keys in the typewriter area. Then we have another section which has arrow keys. What are the arrow keys for? Arrow keys are special keys used for controlling the cursor, for cursor movement or navigating the document. You can be able to move the cursor upwards, downwards, or left and right using those very arrow keys, as we shall learn shortly. Now, the others, we have the function keys. Function keys are labeled F1 through F12. But what are the specific use of function keys. Function keys do not have a definite use. It depends on which applications you are using. You use Word, you may find F5 having a different meaning when you are using Excel or when you are using a computer game. So they do not have an actual defined use, but it depends on which application you are using. So don't bother much about the function keys, but with the time you will keep on learning which application you are using and which function key that is essential for you. Now, let us look at the fingers arrangement. Still in typing skill, but how do we arrange our fingers when we are typing, which is very essential. Now look at this picture here. This picture depicts a girl trying to type using just one hand with one pointing finger. That way, I consider a very bad practice if you are to be a brilliant typist. You cannot make that kind of arrangement of typing and you make a good typist. Then look at this gentleman. He's trying to use both hands, but only one finger stretched of each hand. That way also can make you to be very slow in typing, and you cannot make a good or brilliant typist when you are doing that. Then let us come to this other arrangement. This one is brilliant, very much recommendable, because there you are trying to make all the fingers engaged except the thumbs, but the other fingers are ready to type, very ready. So if you are to use this kind of arrangement, you can be able to handle the keyboard in a very efficient way. You can be able to type your document and produce the result at a very short time. You can enhance your speed that way. Now let us look at important keys. There are other keys that we need to learn. These are some of the keys which can enable us to switch from one area of the keyboard to another, just but to be able to manage our keyboard layout. Let us look at caps lock. Caps lock. For those of you who admire to type in capital letters and switch back to small letters, then you need to be introduced this very important key, caps lock key. Caps lock key. Now assume you have that blank document and you want to type a heading. You want to type a heading, say the perfect wisdom. The perfect wisdom, but you want to type it in a capital letter. What should you ensure? What you should ensure is to press the caps lock key to switch on that green light. Usually it can be located in any part of your keyboard. Usually in most keyboards you will find it at the right upper corner, but at times it may be located in the very caps lock key itself. It depends. But that key, when it is off, it means all the characters you are going to press will be in small letters. But when you switch on, it means you are going to type in capital letter. Now it is on. If you make an attempt to type, your characters will be in capital letter. Let us try to type. Let's assume we have our keyboard and we are trying to type. Now when you type, we want to type the perfect wisdom. Now that THE we have typed there very fast is in capital letters. Why? Because our green light is on, our caps lock is on. If it was off, we could not have managed to type it in small letters. Now in capital letters. Now we need another very important key button, and which is this spacebar. Spacebar. That spacebar is used to separate the words. We need to be able to separate the word, because after we want to type the perfect wisdom, but that is not one word. There are supposed to be 3 words and they should be separated. And which key do we use to separate? It is the spacebar, and you will always find it on your screen. It is just located at the lower part, and it is always a larger key, well spread down there. When you press it, it will enable you to separate the word. Now let us press it once, and you will find that from THE it has been spaced. Now we are able to type another word after that. So now we can continue typing as we space. The perfect wisdom. The perfect also there we spaced, then wisdom. Now the other key button, which is also very important for us to know, is the enter key. The enter key. At times it is labeled return key. So we will either call it enter key or return key. Enter key or return key. What is this key for? This key is basically used to send the cursor to the next line. To send the cursor to start on a new line. We can say the new line or the new paragraph. So if I'm to press this key button enter, we are able to get out of the first line to the next line, or the current line to the next line. So there we press the enter key, there we get to the next line. So we are in the next line. So there we have used the caps lock, the spacebar, and the enter key. So we are able to continue with the same wisdom in that ability of using the 3 key buttons easily, and there we can continue typing. So at least I know you are able to use those 3 keys, and you must be paying attention. If you think you have not got it clearly, you can replay it so that you are able to utilize those 3 key buttons. Then still in key buttons, there is another very important key button known as backspace. Backspace. At times it can also look this way. They may label it backspace with an arrow pointing on the left side, but they may only put an arrow without labeling it, but that arrow pointing on the left, and you'll also discover that it is the space, backspace. Now this backspace, usually it is positioned on the right upper side of your keyboard, usually. Now let's look at how it is used. This backspace is used to delete characters towards left. To delete characters toward left. So when you press, depending on where the cursor is, where you put the cursor, it will start deleting the characters heading to the left. So look, assume I press this key. Look at the cursor. The cursor is positioned here. That is the cursor. Now if I press once, you will see that the M has been deleted. It is deleting towards the left. If I press again, you will realize that it is continuing to delete. It is continuing to delete towards the left. Now when I continue, you will find that it can delete everything. But let me stop there and I show you another still deleting key button. This one is delete key. So there is a difference between backspace and delete key. Delete key can either be labeled delete, or at times they simply label it as DEL. It is the same key. It does the same job, but they can label it differently depending on the keyboard, the way it is made. Now let us come to the cursor now positioned at the most left. Now this delete key here, if we used will delete characters towards right direction. The previous key button, the space, the backspace, could delete it towards left, but this one will be deleting towards right. Now if I attempt to press delete key, it will delete towards right. You can see that word there has been deleted, and it is threatening to delete the word perfect, but we have stopped there. Now that's how these keys perform. It is a matter of you understanding how they are being operated. Now let us look at the cursor control. There are two ways of controlling the cursor or navigating through your document. You can either use the cursor keys or arrow keys, but you can also use the mouse button. I mean the mouse, either the arrow keys or the mouse. But which one is most efficient? Obviously is your mouse. You can rarely use the cursor keys or arrow keys, but usually shall use the mouse. And how is our mouse? What are the properties of our mouse? We have the left mouse button. This left mouse button, we may be knowing or not knowing, but the mouse has these basic buttons: left mouse button, then right mouse buttons, and they are both used differently. Then there is another roller. It is called scroll button. This one is for scrolling, this one is for clicking, this one is for clicking. This is right click, left click, and we use it alongside the pointer. Like the way this pointer is moving is being moved by the mouse. It is being moved by the mouse, and you can use to click. So with that, when you have a document, assume I'm to use the arrow keys. Assume I'm using the arrow keys. If the cursor is here, this is the cursor. If I press 1, you will find that this cursor, if I press the upper arrow key, this one, if I am to press, that cursor will move up. It will move up from down up. It will move from down up, and that's how that cursor is used. But you can use the mouse so that we click anywhere very fast, because the cursor moves just character at a time, one character at a time, and it can consume a considerable amount of time if you don't know how to operate the mouse. But learning how to operate the mouse is not an option, you have to learn it. Now let's look at case switching. What do I mean by case switching? Here we have a shift key. Still we are learning how to type, but at times there are some key buttons which have more than one symbol. This area is available in all the keyboards, whereby you have the two symbols at your go, but one button. Now assume when you are pressing here, you want a 1, but there is exclamation mark on top. You may be wanting a 2, or may want the at symbol, but there is a 2. So which is which? How do you know? How do you obtain a hash symbol instead of a 3? So that's the work of shift key. Now how do we use it? Assume you have that blank, your application is open and you are still typing, and this time you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be typed. Now with that, you simply go there, press the button, and you will get your 1. You simply here you are not holding the shift key, you are just looking at those numbers. They are the ones you want. Then you go again there, you press, you get a 2. You go there, you press that key button, you get a 3. You go there, you press 4, you get a 4. You go there, press 5, you get a 5. But here you have a scenario. You want also exclamation mark, at symbol, hash. How do you get that? So another method is used. You come and hold down the shift key. You hold it with the one finger. You hold it down, not very firmly to the extent of breaking it, but you simply hold it down without releasing. While you holding down, you go there and press the key button. So this time, since the shift key is held, you won't get a 1, but you will get an exclamation mark. When you go there again, you press that key button, you will not get a 2, but you will get the at symbol. You go again, you get the hash symbol. You go again there, you will not get a 4, but you will get a $sign. You continue, you will not get a 5, but you will get a percentage symbol. Why? Because the shift key is held down, and that is how that's a use of shift key. But again, if the caps lock is on and you hold the shift key, you get small letters, and vice versa. You will try it out and you will see how wonderful the shift key is. Now we come again and we look at another key called tab key. Tab key. How do we use tab key, and what's the purpose? Now we use tab key for indentation. When we want to get deep a little bit, it creates a slightly larger space compared to what the space bar does. This one, it has a considerable space compared to what the backspace does. Now, I mean not backspace but the space bar. Now when I go there and press the tab once, what happens is that a space will be created. Now if I want to type something, it will begin from here, not behind here. Look, it will begin from here. So there I can type. I assume they have typed math. So after typing math, I can use the tab again, press the tab key, and you create another space, and I can type something there. Then from there, maybe I want to go to the next line, so I may have to employ the enter key. I press the enter key. We have learned how to use the enter key, and we go to the next line. So I can type something there. Joy, assume I want to do some little tabulation, so the tab key is helping me, and I can also press the tab so that I can reach where at the direction of math, and I can type something there, 80, and I can also press tab again to create that space so that I can type something else there. Then I use the enter key, get to the next line, then I can type anything there, say the name Tom, then I use the tab key to space, then I can type something there, use the tab key to space, and I can type something else. And with this method, we can use the tab key to tabulate something, to write something which is well arranged that we can appreciate. Now from there, let us look at this section of the keyboard, numeric keypad. Now let's try to enlarge a bit, that we can also use this part to enter numbers. We can use this part to enter numbers. I have tried to enlarge this, but if you want to use this part, ensure that you activate the numlock. Ensure that the numlock key is on, and there when you have your document, you can press this key button and you get those numbers. All these numbers can be obtained right from here. And with that, let me assume you have understood this part 1. Join me again in part 2, still learning word processing with Mr. Kichui. Get that art of learning with us. Keep on liking our pages. Keep on if you are watching YouTube, please like, subscribe so that you can always get more learning tutorials. Thank you very much.